Let's take a look at the Garmin Marine rugged mount with power audio cable made for the Montana series. So this is going to work with your Montana 600, Montana 650, and any other future variation of the Montana series that uses the same form factor. So let's take a look at what comes in the box. This is actually a pretty good kit for your boat. To get started, they give you a little marine mount instruction manual, which is going to give you some guidance on how to use the mount, install it, and so on. So be sure to read through this so you understand everything. They also include a screen protector. Being a touchscreen unit, you want to protect the screen. If you have dirt on your fingers and you rub the screen, you can leave little micro scratches, or maybe you have a tool in your hand and you reach over to hit an icon on the screen, you accidentally poke the screen with your tool. This protector is going to help protect from any unwanted damage. Now getting into the meat and potatoes of the mount, we have the actual mounting base right here, and we have the cradle. So let's look at the base first. So the base is pretty straightforward. If you want to mount it, you could either use double-sided adhesive tape, and you'd use it on the bottom here, or you could screw this bottom down. To screw the bottom down, you do need to take the bottom off first. That way you could still pivot it left and right. So to do that, you just unscrew this, and then we could pop the bottom off. Sometimes this bottom's hard to get off. I'm just going to use this guy here to kind of help me break it loose. There. Once off, we've got 3 holes here which we can use self-tapping screws with to tap down to our boat. Once it's down, this simply pops back on, and then you could tighten this down so it doesn't turn when you don't need it to. We'll just put this off to the side for a second here, and then we'll look at the actual cradle. So we have the Montana cradle right here. It's got 4 screws, and these are an amps hole pattern. So you could actually take these screws out and use this with a ram mount if you want. If you want to mount it on your bike or use a ram mount to mount it on your boat instead, you could do so. There's a little weather cap right here, kind of stuck up in there. You get your finger in there, pull it out. It's hard to get out the first time, and it's going to cover up the contacts that are on the bottom right here. These contacts are going to make your electrical connections and your data connections. To take the Montana out of the mount, there is a little quick release right here. You need to push that, and what it's going to do is there's 2 tabs up here, and it just sucks those back up so the unit will pop out. That way the unit's held in here securely. Also, to make it a little more secure, there's security Torx up here. And they do give you a security Torx tool right here. You could buy extras at GPSCity, and it just unscrews. The middle will come apart, and then we got a security Torx, and then we just put that in there, and we just tighten this down. That will disable this button. It no longer pushes in, so you can't accidentally hit the button and the unit pop out. Also makes it a little more difficult for somebody just to grab and run with your unit. If you're going to leave your boat or bike out of sight though, take your unit off the mount, because this mount will not protect it from a thief who has time. The cabling on this device is bare wire, so you're going to have to wire it to a power source. They do have an inline blade fuse here. It's going to be approximately 3 amps. When we open it up, if I can get it open, I will just skip that because it's actually written on here what fuse you need. It says you actually need a 2 amp 32 volt fuse. Also on this black tab, it's going to tell you what all the other wires are on the cable. So we've got our audio connection. It's a 3.5 millimeter, so you can plug an external speaker into it, or headphones if you're using it for audio directions. Especially on the bike, you can plug your headset, your helmet headset into that. Then we have these wires here. Of course, black is ground. for your power, but we have these three other ones. We have blue, green, and yellow. Remember, on this tab, it has your wire output, so don't lose this little tab because it'll come in handy. So yellow is going to be your serial data, and it's your input. So you're going to tie this to the transmit line of whatever you're sampling data from. May it be a NMEA 0183 based device such as a VHF radio. And then our blue wire is serial data out. So if you're outputting NMEA, which the Montana can do, you will connect the device to here. So again, you could connect your VHF radio to this blue line. Also make sure to carry a ground through. And you can send your position through your VHF radio to the Coast Guard, but be sure to register everything with the Coast Guard first. And then the last wire, we'll just look it up on this sheet here, is green, and that's your serial ground. So the serial ground is pretty much the same as your power ground. You could actually tie those together and put them to the same ground. Let's take a look at how this cradle goes on to the base. So got the base here. The cradle has this kind of long, narrow trough or slot there. And what you're going to do is you're going to loosen this up. Don't want to take it right off. That should be good. Then you just simply slide that on. You may have to use some force to get it on a little bit. There we go. And then tighten it up. It's got little grooves in there, so when you put it in a position and tighten it, it's not going to easily pivot on you. And then loosen it, and you could pivot it to however you want to orientate the Montana. So that was a quick introduction to the Garmin Marine mount with power and audio for the Montana series. The part number of this device is 010-11654-06 and is found on the accessories page for the Montana on GPSCity's website.